RWBY Volume 2, Episode 7, Dance Dance Infiltration. Now, aside from this episode having just a pretty cool title, it was definitely a good episode. It had multiple characteristics to it. It had its funny moments, of course, with some of the dancing, especially the big dance number, which was also pretty cool to me. I enjoyed the song and some of the cool moves, but it had its serious moments, like the character progression in this, even though it was small for each character, it had multiple moments of progression for each character. Specifically, Jean had the most in this one, without a doubt. Not only did we get to see him dance, but we kind of saw him officially get over Weiss, I have to think, because he did actually tell Neptune to go to this girl who, throughout the entire series, Jean has, of course, been trying to get with. So I think that was a really big moment for Jean. Unfortunately, we still don't really get like a complete relationship between Jean and Pyrrha, so they're still holding that off for all the fans who are waiting for that to happen. But it was definitely a great episode for him. It was cool to get the moment when he actually went to talk to Pyrrha, and she was talking about how she's put on this high pedestal, which I knew that's what it was going to be, because that is a real life thing when people are just so smart and just have all these amazing awards and things like that. That does actually happen in real life. So it was cool for her to tell him that story. And she mentions, like, that's why I liked you when I met you, because you didn't even know who I was. So I was just someone else, and we became friends. And because of you, I made other friendships that'll last me a lifetime. So I thought that was a really great moment. It also had, of course, action towards the end of the episode, which admittedly, I was, I've I don't know. Of course, I love the action, and it was really cool to see Cinder do the move she did, because we've never seen her do like that cool summoning move. The only thing that I didn't like about the action is that we got teased with something that could have been just mind blowing when they had the little moment at the end, and it was Cinder versus Ruby, which didn't really last at all. But I didn't realize it was the end of the episode, because I'm just like in fantasy land, like these things go on forever. And so when Ironside came in the elevator, the first thing in my head was like, it's really about to get crazy now, because we're going to get to see what this guy can do. And then Ruby turns around and Cinder takes off. And I was like, that really sucks. They teased me like crazy with that one. And I don't know if that really affected you guys. You can, of course, let me know. But that's just what I was thinking, because I rarely ever seem to keep track at the right times. I always keep track, and it's like, oh, it's the middle of the episode. But when it gets towards the end, I'm just like, what's happening next? And then it's the end of the episode. But I did enjoy the fight scene. That's just the only thing that really caught me off guard, was that I wasn't really paying attention. So it's nothing from that episode. It's really just me not keeping track of time. But I love the fight scene. It was cool. Cinder in like sort of the Catwoman outfit. The moves she had were definitely really cool, like summoning the blades. I was trying to figure out, is this her semblance? Is this just her being a sorceress? What exactly is it? And I still don't really know, because a part of it, and this is something that comes from the little special episode we got when they talked about dust, which I think about the episode every time I see something new now. So I was trying to think, like, okay, are her clothes partly made out of dust? Because when she was summoned the blades, it's not like she lit up completely, which is the same thing that happens when she's in her dress. When she uses her powers, her dress kind of sets on fire a little bit, and that's what happened in this one, except it was like the back of her legs lit up, and then under her arms lit up, so it wasn't the entire outfit. So I think that her suit was at least partially made out of dust, and it was probably her just sorceress ability, but it could also be semblance. Like, we still don't really know the specifics of what happens when you used your clothing for dust. Like, even in that little special, they kind of showed someone sort of like whip their cape around and it was on fire, which, like I said, sort of relates to Cinder. But I was still trying to figure out, like, is this her semblance? Is this just dust? What is it? But I definitely enjoyed it. And like, she also had the ability when she threw like the diamonds up in the air and they were floating for a second before she shot them. I feel like all that stuff, was probably just her sorceress abilities, but I don't really know. You never actually know with these characters, because they have all sorts of abilities. It's like summoning weapons. Who's to say that that isn't, above and beyond powerful, when like Ruby has super speed and Pyrrha has polarity, where she can just like touch anything metal and it's just like, it's out of here. So you can't really say like, oh, this is way too powerful for someone to have as far as the semblance. But I definitely enjoyed that scene. Like I said, it was just like the only thing that sucked about it was that it was kind of a tease when we didn't actually get to see them fight, and most of it was just Cinder really just taking people out in like a couple of hits. So I always enjoyed it a lot more when it's a real big challenge fight. But I did enjoy the very first part when they did like the cool slow motion stuff. But that was really cool. Like I said, the funny moments were definitely good. The dance number was pretty cool. I do believe some of those moves, and it could have been just move for move, was taken from an old video Monty Oum did with Dead Fantasy. So I'll put the link below to that if you guys want to check it out. But that's from his old series that he did, and it's just a bunch of characters from like Namco and God, I can't think of the other company, like Namco and Tecmo or something like that, and they're just dancing to a K-pop song. But you can check that out in the description below. But I enjoyed that scene; it was pretty cool. It was just like Team Juniper dancing, so that was pretty funny. Nora's reaction when Jean and Pyrrha started dancing, I initially just thought she was saying like, "Oh, it's starting," or I can't remember the exact line, but I thought she was just saying that because it's like, "Oh, they're gonna finally get together." But then she like grabbed Ren and they started dancing. But I enjoyed that scene. We did actually get to see. I don't know if you guys noticed, but Neptune is dancing like in the very end of the episode. You can. It's hard to miss him because he's only got blue hair. But he was just like off in the background. Like they kind of had him in the center because there were no people blocking the view from him, and he's just like dancing like this, and he's offbeat. But it was pretty funny to actually see him try. But I enjoyed the episode. It was cool to you know get everything that we got out of it. I wasn't expecting any of the action. Honestly, I thought it was just going to be like Mercury and Emerald at the party, and they were just going to be scoping everybody out and doing their weird psychological stuff, because that's kind of what they do, really. Like, so far, we haven't really seen them do too much insane action, or really any at all when you think about it, outside of the little stuff with Pyrrha. And there was like a dodge and a kick in the season premiere, but everything else has just been like little psychological stuff. Like them just being at the school in general is just complete spy work when you think about it. So I do enjoy that aspect. I can't wait to see them actually fight, but I thought that's what this episode was going to be about. And they were, I guess really that's kind of what they were doing. They were just checking everybody else out, and then their boss, she just kind of went and did her own thing. And something with that, with the end of the episode, when they had like the queen piece show up on the TV screens, that reminded me of the season finale for season one, where Crow mentions that the queen has pawns. And one thing that kind of stuck out to me was like, initially back then I thought he just said that because it's like the boss, you would just name the king or the queen, and so she has pawns, she has minions, and that was it. But when she used the Black Queen piece in this actual episode, it made me think that maybe that is some actual connection to who she is as a character, and maybe Crow does know who this character is, or who she used to be, maybe, and they just kind of don't give out that information, or maybe they don't know and it could just be a coincidence that he said that and she used that piece. But it made me think that they do actually know this character, because it does actually tie back to that, because she could have used any symbol. It could have been no symbol. She could have just been on a computer and done nothing, or used, like I said, any other symbol to be like, hey, someone hacked in here. But it happened to be an actual queen chess piece, which does refer back to what Crow said, like her being a queen. So it makes me think that maybe she is actually connected to them. I'm hoping, and this kind of goes towards a route that a lot of people already suspect, is that Cinder is actually Yang's mother. I'm hoping it doesn't lead to that, because even with last week's episode, I was thinking about that and I mentioned it. And I don't want that to happen to Yang, because that's what I would consider like a sort of Kakashi effect. And anyone who watches Naruto, you know what I mean. But for anyone who doesn't, basically it's like the giant enemy ends up being someone who's actually really close to you, and that just sucks for that character. But I'm hoping that doesn't happen to Yang, because that would just be harsh to see her have to deal with that. And it would suck for RWBY too, because, that just sucks. Even if you don't actually know her, you know your sister, so that would suck. But I definitely enjoyed this episode. Loved the dance scene. Something I almost completely forgot, in the big wide shot that they did when they were showing the dance, I can't remember which part of the episode it was in. The DJs are Daft Punk. Like, one guy has a gold helmet, the other guy has a silver helmet. It's a reference to Daft Punk, so I thought that was pretty cool because I love Daft Punk. Other than that, I really enjoyed the episode. Like I said, the character progression was cool. It was a little bit for each character, like the little stuff with Neptune, like he was just embarrassed because he can't dance. that's really little, but for this character who we know is like he's the cool character, it was slightly humanizing. And then we had the stuff with Jean and Pierre was good. And overall, I just enjoyed the episode. I'm really excited for next week to see where the characters are going to end up going. Whatever this random mission is, which they mentioned like 2 weeks ago, excuse me, whatever is happening after this dance is going to be like their big mission that all the teams are going on. I don't know if it's all the teams together. I would assume it's all the separate teams, but I'm excited for that. I don't know if we're going to see Team Coffee, who is Velvet with the bunny ears, for anyone who doesn't remember. I don't know if they're going to get back in next week's episode. That's what I'm really hoping. Is like we have to get back in time for our next mission, so we'll get to see them in next week's episode. But I'm definitely excited for it. Another random, or like two other random things. I did like the fact that they brought back the locker stuff, which was used as a joke in season one when Jean just got like launched off into the air. But that was really cool to see RWBY actually use that. And then another thing, the first guy that Cinder knocked out, it looked like he was smiling, which I thought was really funny. Like, why is this guy smiling? But that was just something else random I noticed. But loved the episode. All the comedy was good. I'm definitely gonna watch that dance scene again because it was funny. Also like the song. I think the ending song is like a continuation of the song from last week, unless it is a completely different song. It just sounded like it was in a different part. But I enjoyed the ending song. Also, the background they used for the ending was definitely cool. I saw those. Some of those pictures have been cut up, or that one picture has been cut up so you could Google it. And I'd seen some of the different pieces on Google a couple of weeks ago, or like a couple months ago, and I thought those looked really, really cool. So it was great to see that background used as the ending for this episode. But comment below, let me know what you guys thought about it, your favorite parts, your least favorite parts. And of course, what did you guys think about the dance number? Did you expect it? Did you not expect it? Did you like it? Could you have lived without it? What do you guys think about it in general? Do you guys want to see like just a whole dancing number from RWBY? Comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.